everybody, and welcome to the final episode of Can You Put Me on Guest List of 2019. Just before we start, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has listened, supported, shared the podcast. I've loved every minute of it, and I can't wait to chat to more exciting guests in 2020. This week, my guest is Neil Evans. I'm sure that anyone that is listening to this podcast that works in the industry knows or has heard of Neil from promoting some of the best events in Ibiza to managing well-known names in dance music. He's been coming to the island since 1999 and since then has worked on so many different projects in nearly all of the clubs on the island, including Space, Amnesia, Privilege, Pacha and Ibiza Rocks, and also co-founded Electric Ibiza, which is a 360 artist and label management and event promotion company.
Like if you look back to sort of 1999, 2000, you go to Space, come out of Space, go to DC10, and I think it also had a little bit of a shock factor. And I don't feel there's a shock factor in Ibiza anymore. It was, the gay community was a lot bigger. There was, like you had La Troya, you had Manumission, you had all of these really like, wow, am I going to go in there? As a guy from Sunderland at that age, walking around La Troya or Manumission or whatever was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And but it was great. And I think there's a big lack of that.
We talk about his beginnings in the industry, what's missing in Ibiza nowadays, balancing his work as a promoter and as a manager, DJ fees, his really exciting projects for 2020, and a lot more. Thank you again for such an amazing year, and I'll see you next year. Hello, Neil.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing good in the winter. Relaxing? Well, kind of relaxing.
You never relax. How has your winter been so far here on the island?
Yeah, it's been good.
Make sure you're talking to the mic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's been good so far. It's a little, the weather's not so nice at the moment, but yeah, it's there's plenty going on with work-wise, so enough to keep you busy.
It's not so nice for Ibiza.
No, sorry, yes. We just used to because we're in Ibiza, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Apologies to everyone else in the other cold parts of the world.
Yeah. Right, let's start off from the very beginning. How did you get into the music industry?
So I bought a record shop in my hometown.
Which is?
In Sunderland, in the north of England. And that kind of just developed from there with a passion for dance music before that. That developed into the record shop, and then the record shop. It was good for a period of time, but at that point, it's like vinyl sales weren't as good as what they used to be. The digital market started coming in, and it kind of just changed into a record label, and then from there, record label into managing acts, and then because all of that come the record label, then you start doing showcases, and then that kind of developed into events, and I was quite close with some of the promoters for Global Underground, and so it just developed into an event side of the business as well. So before long, I was doing the record shop, the record label, events, and then looking after some artists. But then the record shop closed, and I can sort of moved on with managing artists more.
How long did you have the record shop for?
I think it was around maybe 2.5 years, 3 years, something like that.
So when you were managing artists, you were still back in the UK at this point?
Well, so I had the record shop, and then in the summers I used to come to Ibiza and let some other people look after the record shop at home, but when I used to go back, they'd fucked it up. And then I'd spent all the money in Ibiza, and then I would go home to an empty record shop with no money in the record shop. So it was like, right, I think with this record shop, just best go. So it went up for sale, and
it's either going to Ibiza or the record shop.
So I continued to go to Ibiza.
And when did you permanently decide to move here?
It's been on and off for a long time, but like this time since I've permanently lived back in Ibiza, it's been, I think, 2011. So yeah.
2011.
2011, 2012. That's since I've never left and went back to live anywhere else.
So, but when did you first start coming here?
1999.
1999.
Yeah. As a club.
20 years ago.
Yes, shush. So yeah, 1999 as a clubber, and then I was here for, I think I was here 2000, 2001, 2002, and then I had a little break, and yeah, I've always been around Ibiza really in some capacity.
Yeah. And what was your first job here on the island?
First music job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do events at the old Ushuaia, which was La Plage. So it was Ushuaia, then it changed to La Plage. I think it was for 1 year. And then what year
was that, sorry?
I think that must have been 2010, 2011. Okay. It was, I mean, how long has Ushuaia been open now? I can't remember.
Yeah, a while.
So yeah, it'll have been called La Plage the year that Ushuaia moved to its home where it is now, because obviously it was the beach bar before. And I did some events there, and then I came back the following year, and I was involved in Renaissance at the time. So we opened a club in Birmingham called Gibb Street Warehouse, and then Jeff stayed in England running that while I was here doing the programming and the bookings and stuff and promotions for Renaissance or Pacha. And then after that, I went to Sankey to do Flying Circus, and then blah, 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 blah. So there's lots since.
Goes on and on.
Yes.
How has Ibiza's clubbing culture changed since when you first got here until now, and how has that influenced your work?
When I used to come, if you look back to sort of 1999, 2000, you go to Space, come out of Space, go to DC10, and I think it also had a little bit of a shock factor. And I don't feel there's a shock factor in Ibiza anymore. It was, the gay community was a lot bigger. There was, like you had La Troya, you had Manumission, you had all of these really like, wow, am I going to go in there? As a guy from Sunderland at that age, walking around La Troya or Manumission or whatever was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And but it was great, and I think there's a big lack of that. It's all
like that wow factor.
That wow factor, going into a nightclub and being shocked by things that you wouldn't normally see in a club in England or something like that. And I think it really does lack that sort of shock, whether it's sex performances on the stage or just every walk of life being in the club. I just feel now it's not the same as what it used to be. Yeah, I'm sure lots of people will understand what I mean if they were around in them days,
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing. And I would like to try, and we have actually been talking about it the last few weeks, to try and think what we can do that might sort of bring something like that back a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, El Rose got that whole crazy thing going on, but it's not weird, or it's not, you don't see the weird and the wonderful people in there like you would back then.
Yeah, it still has that like kind of wow to it.
Yeah.
It's all big and crazy, but it's all kind of the same.
Yeah, but I think some of the clubbing it's like it's the same walks of life. It's different nationalities, but you haven't got them. You haven't got the gay clubs in Ibiza town like you used to have, and it's just very different. It's a very different place now.
And then when did you start Electric Ibiza?
So we started Electric Ibiza in, I think we're 5 years in now. It was kind of it happened by accident, really, because my business partner Lisa Barrowclough, she worked for Gatecrasher when Simon Rain relaunched Gatecrasher in Ibiza, which didn't go very successfully, as most people will know. But Lisa worked for Gatecrasher back in England, and also for Home and Homelands and all them things in the past. She worked with like Darren Hughes and Simon Rain and for Ron McCulloch and things like that. So she worked, the club didn't go very well. She'd moved from England out here, sort of made her roots here, and then she was kind of let down by the Gatecrasher project. I was kind of let down by the Gatecrasher project, so we decided to try and work together on some things.
Yeah.
And then 5 years in, and we've went from sort of one night to multiple things around the world.
So when you started, were you doing artist management and label management at that time as well?
So it was more like just club. It was more just a club event. We started with our own event at Vista, which it's become Do Not Sleep.
I never knew that.
So our first show was at Vista. And then we also had a Saturday night in the club as well, which was Hard Times, which we licensed from a mutual friend in Yorkshire, which is an older 90s, sort of 2000s house, really sort of respected house brand from the UK. So then we got involved in the artist management because we took on Darius Sarosian, who was the resident at the time. And it was kind of a temporary thing for the management. It was only me doing it, and then since then the company developing it, doing artist management for multiple artists, and then we started to decide we should do some more events and etc. etc. So, and then again it naturally turns into let's start a label. Let's do another label. Let's do a label management part. Let's do a publishing part. And then it's kind of just grown like really organically since we started it, really.
So what are some of the brands and artists that you're working with at the moment?
So we have our own in-house brands, which we have Cuckooland at Ibiza Rocks on a Friday. We have Do Not Sleep, which has been at Amnesia this year, and we're working on some new deals for next year. And then we have we're partners in a pool party series in Miami called Epic Pool Parties, which came about because I used to do it a long time ago with a business partner, John Cowan, and we joined forces with him again. So we did that this year, and we're doing it again in 2020. That's where we license other brands in or curate events around people, and then we're now working on other new events and more labels and
What about artist side?
So at the moment, I'm not moving away from the artist management, but we now have some artist managers that work in the business for us. So we have Josh Butler, Sydney Charles, Huxley. Michael looks after the 3D guys, which is some guys that I used to work with again in the past, which Darren Emerson from Underworld. We look after the Amnesia residents, Marti and Luca Donzelli.
You've got
Seb
loads on your plate.
To be honest, sorry, I can't remember all your names.
What do you find more challenging, managing an artist or promoting an event?
Oh, it depends what artist it is. To be honest, they've both got their ups and downs.
Yeah.
I think you get a lot of. It's nice to have an artist and that you've worked on for a while, and then you suddenly start to, every time you listen to Pete Tong or you listen to Danny Howard, and their music's constantly on Radio 1, and then you're looking at the charts and they're always at the top of the charts, and that's you feel like you've done something for someone or you've done it together, and so they're both equally rewarding. Challenging, again, both the same really. Things go wrong all the time in both sides of the business, so but it's also really good that it's when you get to the end of the night and you've had a full event and you've
smashed it.
You've smashed it, or you're smashed, or but I can't really pick one, to be honest. They both have their rewards and they're both equally challenging.
Yeah, and then that kind of comes into my next question as well. How do you balance, for example, both of these different profiles? Because obviously, like on a nighttime, if you have an event, you're going to have to be up until really, really late, and then the next morning, I'm sure there'll be artists that want things done in the morning. Or how do you balance this?
I'm actually quite good at going out till 10 a.m. and then starting work at 1, or maybe even earlier. Sometimes I don't know how. I don't think I'll be good at for a long time, but I'm generally quite good at that. But I think a lot of the artists on the artist management side understand that if we have an event on a Thursday, then I generally won't be around on a Friday to have a call. If there is something mega important, then we'll try and structure something. But I think most of them know me well enough to stay out my way on a Friday then. But we have, the last 3 years we've had events that run like Thursday into Friday or Friday into Saturday, or 2 events both on the same day. And that can be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I speak to you next week.
Yeah, I'll definitely speak to you next week.
And you have, obviously, as you said before, worked at most of the clubs here in Ibiza. Do they run the same way as clubs do in the UK, or do they have their own particular way of working?
They definitely have their own particular way of working. Mentioning no names. To be honest, like the way I've worked with Ibiza nightclubs over the years is probably I've worked a lot deeper within the nightclubs in Ibiza than I have in the UK. If UK events have always done branded events, or the promotions and the action and the back end and all that kind of stuff. I've never really the operations. I've never really had to get involved in because, like I said, it's always been a branded thing. So my experience, I mean, I've worked at festivals and lots of other things in the UK, but not where I'm sort of have to get deeply involved.
Yeah.
But in Ibiza, I think I've done Privilege, Pacha, Sangees, Space, Amnesia. Is that it? I think that's it.
Ushuaia?
No, we haven't done anything with Ushuaia.
Well, you've done basically all of them.
Yeah, a few. And they've all Ibiza Rocks, but they've all got their different ways of working. Some of them are a little bit more up to date. Some of them are a little bit more traditional in their thoughts. Some of them, but I suppose that's different in all businesses. You know, people run their business very different. Some are very corporate, some are not.
Yeah. What do you think is the hardest part of running an event here in Ibiza?
Standing, waiting to see if anyone's going to walk in the fucking door. Door twitching. I'm really bad for it.
Do you get really nervous?
It's not nervous. It's like for the first hour, I'm just constantly walking backwards and forwards to the door. Just like, is anyone coming in? And I'm talking to the bouncers and are people not already here by now? I should really know that by like hundreds and hundreds of events in. But yeah, it's just one of them things, and that probably leads to a few drinks and. But once the doors are open, you've done all the hard work, really. Yeah. You know, all the hard work for an Ibiza season probably starts. Well, you would like it to start at ADE, and you try and pretend that it starts at ADE, but essentially it probably starts end of January.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a little bit of a lead up this year, and we're starting working on things a lot earlier than we normally have.
Did you used to work this, like when you first came here to Ibiza back in when you first started doing your events? Did you used to start this early on as well?
No, I think I remember when I was doing the last lineups for the Renaissance years, things at Pacha. I think he was even in March when I was at conference. I was still finishing lineups.
Well, the seasons were sort of shorter then as well, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they've been moving sort of backwards and forwards for a few years now.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, it depends. I mean, sometimes I'll still be waiting in March now because it's just moving things around. But yeah, we've made a conscious effort to try and get a lot more done. And at the moment, I'm doing the programming for these Miami events, so we're trying to sort of put 2 deals together. And like if we can make things work with certain artists across Ibiza and Miami, then that's what we're trying to do. But I'm also I'm programming some other events for a Do Not Sleep tour in New York and South America and some other places around the world. So yeah, I'm trying to move things around so I can try and get some block bookings in and stuff at the moment. Yeah.
Does it seem to get harder to book artists in Ibiza because there's a lot more events going on?
You think I had this conversation with Martin from Amnesia yesterday, and I was like, so we were talking about certain artists just in agents not picking up the telephone. And I was like, well, I thought that just happened to me. He was like, no, it definitely happens to all of us. So you kind of just think, is it only me that people are not answering, or is it, or what? But I think it's everyone. I think there's such an open window for certain acts to be in Ibiza, and they only want that. The 16 weeks, and they want to play everywhere now. They don't want to be at one residency, so they're all spreading themselves a little bit too thin. I think that it's just very difficult to try and get all the dates in what you want, and what they want to play for you.
Yeah.
And it's just very competitive. Like the money side of it's just getting more and more and more. And if I'm honest, I'm not really sure how long them fees can
last
like this. You know, it's.
Does it seem to get worse as every single year?
I think DJs put their fees up because they have a birthday, and I don't think really that's. You know, if you're selling tickets and you can see a real growth in spike in ticket sales from booking a certain artist one year, then of course you're going to offer him some more or her some more money the next year. But just because they've turned 27 or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean their fees go up. You know, you don't go to your boss in a shop and say, "Look, boss, I've had a birthday. Can I have 20 grand more?" It just doesn't work like that, does it?
It definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't. And do you find as well that because there are so many events that a lot of them are like, "Oh, I can't play with you because I'm playing at so and so," or how does that work?
It happens, but then you also see them on lineup. So, I'm not going to do that, but they do because the offers might be more. Or
they have 5 birthdays all of a sudden.
5 birthdays later. It's just a very dog-eat-dog kind of thing that's going on right now. I think a lot more collaboration should happen. Really, I think collaborative efforts on people working with each other can make things a little bit easier. But let's see what happens.
What do you mean collaborations between brands?
Collaborations between brands, collaborations between the clubs would be nice.
What do you feel like people are kind of really like competitive between each other?
Yeah, I think it's definitely getting more competitive. But in the end game, it has to be like, because if you're investing a lot of money, you want a return on your investment. So there's, it can't be all sweetness and light out there. But if people did pull together a little bit more, it might make things a little bit easier with fees. But who knows?
Yeah. And what's happening in 2020?
Big
year.
What's happening in 2020? So I've just been asked by Amnesia to come on board to help Marty with the programming of the club, which looks like it's going to be a start of a new sort of, I don't know, is it a new era? Who knows? Lots of changes there. I'm continuing with the events that we have.
So will you be working with Amnesia all week round?
I'll be working Amnesia as and when I'm needed, but a lot of the time. I've been working now, I think, for 3 or 4 weeks trying to bring new events in, and we're programming different ththings for the club. We've confirmed a few really good parties, which I think will be a surprise to some people. I'm really happy to try and get my teeth into something new. We'll continue doing Not Sleep, whether it's current home or not, we don't know, but it will be continuing. And then Cookland will continue in Ibiza Rocks, and then I might have a few other events up my sleeve somewhere along the line. Let's see. Who knows?
Exciting times. And then finally, just to finish off, can you give me one guest list rule, Neil Evans?
I really can't think of one.
The amount of people that must ask you for guest list, though. Do you not ever get pissed off by people?
I'll tell you what it is. Make sure you fucking know me. Do you know what I mean? Well, you can edit it. Go on, tell me. Say it again.
To make sure you fucking know Neil Evans before you ask for guest list.
It's like, honestly, how many people... Oh, hello, I used to go to school with a cousin of yours. You don't even fucking know me because you're not getting in the club for free.
I don't know my cousin either. That is actually really annoying. I'm a friend of your brother's.
Yeah. No, you're not.
Neil, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.